Well, welcome back to Stoltz Bros and Sugar.
Sugar, yeah.
Sugar's here joining us.
Stoltz Bros and Sugar Bible Study.
Yeah, she's making a guest appearance today. Obviously, she loves her daddy. And so last time, Matt, we were on episode 22, just like 2 minutes ago.
Yeah.
Did you have your Stump Jeremy question ready?
Nope.
Oh, Matt, you're letting me down.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Oh, jeez. And
Ain't the first time I let you down. It won't be the last.
And our sound effects broke because they became unplugged, and I didn't want to try to get up and do them. But so anyway, I'll just do one ourselves. Wah wah wah. How was that?
You sound like Charlie Brown's teacher. Wah 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 wah
Yeah,
wah.
Man, sometimes my parents. Well, never mind. So well, never mind. I just won't. We'll just leave that alone. So last time we talked about. We started the first 13 verses of Mark chapter 5, and in that we talked about a demon interaction that Jesus had after being on the Sea of Galilee, and in that how we talked about how demons they possessed humans, the devil was in charge of them, and they're evil, and they're part of that. One thing we did forget to mention that they're fallen angels. I think Ezekiel 28 talks a little bit about that, but
yeah,
it's a reality that hopefully we don't have to, but the reality is God's given us the armor of God. And I think we talked a bit about that and how when we put on the armor of God, we can stand against the animals, the devil's attacks. And it's not against like flesh and blood,
yeah,
but against things we can't see. So now it's pretty cool. We want to look at the response of the guy who was delivered in this episode. And the people's reaction to it. So here we go. Mark chapter 5:15 says, the men who were tending them, talking about the 2,000 pigs, because remember they had already just rushed down into the sea. He says, they reported, they went off and reported to the town and the countryside. Now remember that this was the region of Gersinus, I'm not sure, Gerasenes. It's interesting because the town mentioned later is Decapolis, and there's a series of 10 towns. But anyway, never mind. So they came to Jesus and saw the man who had been demon possessed by the legion, sitting there dressed. And kept this. So he's dressed because last time he was naked, right?
Right.
And then this time it says, and in his right mind, because last time he was going around yelling in the middle of the night, cutting himself with rocks and doing all kinds of crazy stuff, superhuman strength. And he was sitting there in his right mind. And look at their response. It says, Scripture says, and they were afraid. And I think I would be too. We'll come back to that. So the eyewitnesses described to them what had happened to the demon-possessed man and told them about the pigs. Then they began to beg him, talking about Jesus, to leave the region. And as he was getting into the boat, the man who had been demon-possessed kept begging him to be with him, but he would not let him go. Instead, he told him, go back to your home and go home to your own people and report to them how much the Lord, you're making it challenging, you know that, baby, how he has had mercy on you. So he went out and began to proclaim in Decapolis how much Jesus had done with him, and they were all amazed. All right, so here they are, these guys. They're probably just out there doing their job, watching, taking care of the pigs, right?
Yep.
And they're just, I guess a pig farmer, pig herder. I don't know. But
pig shepherd.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, so I wasn't quite sure how that works. So there they are. I mean, 2,000 pigs. I don't know how much half a pig is worth now. I'm sure it's cost several $100.
Like $300 or something.
Right.
Like that.
So if a pig is worth, say, $3, $4, $5 grand, you're talking $60,000 to $100,000 worth of capital.
Yep.
That's a lot of money. I don't care who you are or whatever the case may be. So here they are, 2,000 pigs, and they're overwhelmed because they see this guy, and this guy we talked about, he was already what?
Yeah, he was crazy, out of his mind. People were used to seeing him like being a lunatic.
Yeah.
And here he comes like, hey, look at me now. I got everything back. I'm human again.
They said he saw the man who had been demon possessed sitting there. Yeah, here's what we said: dressed, because he was naked before, in his right mind. He was demonically possessed, cutting himself at night. Can you imagine being in town and hearing this guy yell?
Yeah.
From the graveyard, basically. And
boy, yeah, they probably thought he was half dead.
yeah, and they were afraid.
Yeah.
They're like, did you see what happened to this guy? He was demon possessed, and the pigs?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. And what's the response of the people? Jesus, you need to go.
Huh?
What was their response with Jesus? They begged. It says, the scripture says it says they
were amazed and astonished with it, and they asked him to leave.
Yeah, they began to beg him.
They were afraid of him. I mean,
yeah,
there's this guy that they're used to seeing.
Yeah,
I don't know how many years, but probably most of his life, being a lunatic, and then Jesus comes and says, "Hey, get out of him," and
yeah,
he's like, "Hey, look at me!" Probably puts on clothes, probably cleans himself up.
Yeah.
And he starts talking, and everybody's like, "Wait a minute, isn't that the psycho guy?"
Yeah, I mean, it would have been enough just for that, but then 2,000 pigs.
Yeah.
2,000. How can we?
2,000 pigs gave up the life for one.
Yeah. I mean, those pig trucks when they go by. I don't know how many's on them things, but that's a lot of pigs just in that.
Yeah.
So 2,000, it's mind blowing. So no wonder. I think they have I think they're curious, but I also think they're afraid.
Yep. Well, that's an unnatural event. I mean,
right. It's
be like watching cows jumping off a bridge.
Really?
Probably.
Oh, okay.
I don't know.
I don't know either. So here they are, and so they're just they're bewildered, like you said, not knowing how to react. And I think if we were in the same situation, we'd be like, all right, you caused enough trouble. Let's go ahead and get you out of here. Yeah. And that wasn't what Jesus' thing was. As you pointed out earlier, when Jesus saw this guy, how did he treat the guy?
With respect.
Right.
He treated him as a human, not as a demon or anything like that.
So that makes me wonder how often we look at people and say, nah, better not, as we used to say as kids.
Well, yeah. I mean, what's our common reaction? Judging.
Yeah. And I mean, sometimes we judge so we can be safe and not, have that safe distance and have those boundaries.
Right.
I'm not saying that. But at the same time, Jesus looked at him, and I think he looked at him with love. Like we talked about before, where he was interacting with some of the false teachers. And when he looked at him, it says he's angry, but he was also felt bad for him.
Yep.
And had compassion on him at the same time. And what a challenge for us to look at people that we think are, what did you say earlier, lunatics?
Yeah. Or mentally challenged or
whatever, or people who, what about drug addicts?
Yeah.
And how, or, people in jail, people who struggle with children or whatever, that God looks at them and says, there's hope for them.
Yep.
If there's hope for this guy, there's hope for everyone. Even for you and I.
Believe it or not.
Yeah. And, even after we're saved, we can still struggle, but God still says, there's hope for you too. So, what I think the point we were talking about here is that what they were worried about, just let me finish the rest of the chapter. Maybe it brings it up itself here, this part. As he was getting into the boat, the men who had been demon-possessed kept begging him to be with them. No, not quite there yet. I think the point we're trying to make here is that when these guys looked at what had happened, they were more worried about the pigs and not the result of the man's life. That this man had come in some way and had a personal experience with Jesus, and his life had been changed.
Yep.
And don't get me wrong, we're not there. It's easy for us to kind of go back and look with hindsight and go, oh my goodness, look at that. But the thing is, man.
What would we do in that situation?
Yeah, what would we do now if something similar happened when we look at people and they go, God's changed my life.
Yeah.
And yeah. So he goes on, as Jesus was getting into the boat. So he just got off the boat. I don't know how long he's been there. What's he doing?
Getting back in.
Getting back in. All right. Hopefully there's no storm for him this time. So he was demon, and the guy he said he kept begging him to be with him. Like he saw the difference that Jesus has made in his life, and he didn't forget about it. He knew how important Jesus was, and he wanted to keep being with him and staying with him. And Jesus says, "Go back to your home people, and report to them how much the Lord has done for you, and how He has had mercy on you." So he went out, began to proclaim in Decapolis how much Jesus had done for him, and they were all amazed. So this guy got changed by Jesus, and basically went and gave his
rededicated his life, or
Yeah.
dedicated his life.
right. He got maybe he got saved out of it. He had an experience
Well,
with Jesus that
already
saved his life. It saved his life, and
Yeah,
he's just going around and telling other people. I was telling you about that term Decapolis earlier, right?
right.
That denotes like 10 different cities. So it wasn't just like necessarily one city, but it was a region of
Yeah,
a region of cities that was clustered. So he was going around this region.
and he had that excitement about
Yeah.
Christ in his life, and
Yeah.
you know,
And the difference that he made. And a couple weeks ago, Matt, you shared on a passage that you mentioned that our old longtime youth pastor, man, he's getting old now too. Can we say that about Pastor Myron?
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
he's in his 60s.
Whoa, geez, that's hard to believe. Because I think when he first came to
Yeah.
Avenue West, he was like 22, 23 maybe.
Yep,
Could barely grow a
that's
mustache.
35 years ago.
Oh gosh, more than that now. Anyway, so our youth group name was Go For It. As you talked a little bit about the videos, I won't digress. A couple weeks ago, you did a good job talking about it. But Matthew 28, 19 and 20 says it's just the Great Commission, but it says 19 says, "Go therefore, make disciples of all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit, teaching them everything that I've commanded you, and remember, I'm with you always to the very end of the age." All he was telling them to do was how Jesus was telling the disciples
Yeah.
how God has changed their life.
Yep.
And that's what he wants us to do too. He doesn't want us to,
But people were afraid back in,
yeah,
just like they are today. I mean,
right. But the cool thing is, when we look at this, he says, "I am with you." How long?
forever,
Yeah.
always.
Right. I am with you always to the end of the age.
Yeah.
So while going out and sharing our faith is an intimidating thing, it's a scary thing. My thought is, and I know you disagree with me, and that's okay. Where will we be if somebody wouldn't have shared their faith with us?
We wouldn't be here talking about God, that's for sure.
Right. So it doesn't have to be a big dramatic thing. I got saved at a church camp right after my 4th grade year.
Oh, I was saved when I was a teenager at church camp.
Really?
Yep. In
Man.
my freshman year.
Yeah. So, and it's not like, cool, church camp rocks.
I miss it.
Yeah. I don't know if I
That's
don't.
another story.
Yeah. I remember being to camp council. But anyway, but the idea is, and you know what? It may not be that you're sharing the whole gospel at the same time or whatever. Hopefully you can have that. But you know what? It's piece by piece that God brings these things together and helps things to grow. We talked about when he sowed the soil, the seed. I heard once that it takes somebody 15 times before they actually accept the gospel hearing it. So don't get tired. Don't be discouraged. You never know when you're going to have a demon-possessed man changed by the good news of Jesus that you give him.
Yep.
So, all right, we encourage you to share your faith. We should try to get some information up about the website. We'll try to get that done next week. That's your assignment, Matt. That's your Stump Matt. Oh, I forgot the Stump Matt question of the day. No, I didn't. I asked about the Greek word earlier, didn't I?
Yep.
All right, man. Okay. All right, well, hey, yep. It's 23, I think. Hey, we'll talk to you later, guys. Oh, maybe. There we go.
Oh, good.
Whoa, hey, nope.
Don't looking.